Well, the man suspected of shooting McCray and Corder is in custody.
Bill Miston joins us live. Bill, I know you have new information as prosecutors prepare to file charges.
Hi there, Ben and Mary. Sources within the district attorney's office tell us that charges could come as early as tomorrow. Now, police records show roughly 8 hours after Corder and McCray were shot, 22-year-old Tremaine Jones was arrested. That happened early Friday morning near 37th and Villard. That's nearly 4 miles away from where the shootings took place. Police records show he was booked into police custody on 2 counts of attempted homicide. Records show Jones has been in the county jail since Saturday, though Jones has no adult criminal record. That's because this past April, a guilty plea Jones entered in a misdemeanor case was vacated, and the case was dismissed with prejudice. It was part of a deferred prosecution agreement. That's when the government holds off on prosecuting someone if certain conditions are met. The case was related to when Jones, a then 17-year-old, was arrested in January 2021. He was accused of riding around in a stolen Kia and running from cops. In a letter to the victim in that case, Jones said his brother died from gun violence, and he learned to, quote, to never make the same mistake twice. Now, Jones has not been charged in connection to the shootings, and it's unclear if he has an attorney who could speak on his behalf. We'll let you know how this all unfolds here.
I drove past there when that was going on Villard 37.
In the coming days. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Bill Miston, Fox 6 News.
All right, Bill, thank you for that. So who is keeping the protectors protected? We're going to have that story for you coming up at 5:30. In the meantime, if you would like to help donate to the Milwaukee Police Association's Fallen Heroes Fund, scan the QR code that you see there on your screen. The MPA sends this money directly to officers and their families. For complete coverage following the death of Officer Kendall Corder, head to the Fox Local mobile app or visit fox6now.com.
The Milwaukee Police Department is hurting tonight after an alley ambush of 2 officers.
One officer's in grave condition. Police have a suspect in custody, and the president of the Police Association says the department's at a breaking point. Fox 6's Stephanie Quirk leads our coverage. She's joining us live at the hospital tonight. How are those officers doing?
Yeah, hi guys. We are live tonight outside Freighter, where both officers remain hospitalized tonight. One who is in critical condition. The MPA says that officer, the next 24 hours are going to be critical. Multiple sources tell Fox 6 that officer is 32-year-old Kendall Corder, and tonight his loved one tells us she's praying for his recovery.
Responding to two officers.
I wonder what the officers do to them for them to call the officers and ambush them. Like, if they ain't do nothing to y'all, like, y'all just did it for nothing. That don't make no sense.
Officers shot.
Milwaukee police rushed to the area near 25th and Garfield Thursday night after 2 of their own were shot in the line of duty.
Stop trying to kill my police officers. This is unacceptable.
Police say 2 officers were initially called to the area for a report of someone with a weapon around 9 p.m. Thursday. As they were on the way, that call was upgraded to a shots fired call. The MPA says
Okay, so that's what it was. They act like the police was called and they ambushed the police, but somebody called the police, and they probably called the police on them with the guns.
Once those officers arrived and exited their squad, they were both ambushed and shot at. Both were hit by gunfire and unable to fire back.
I don't know what the audacity,
I drove past there right when it was happening, right when it was arresting the person.
The lack of common sense to think that it's okay to shoot at a police officer. That is ridiculous.
Multiple sources tell Fox 6 32-year-old Kendall Corder is the officer who now remains in grave condition. The MPA says he underwent emergency surgery, but is still critical. His loved one shared these photos to Fox 6.
We've had 4 officers shot in this year alone, in the last 5 months. But 3 of those officers have been shot in the last 2 weeks.
The MPA says the other officer shot, a 29-year-old, was shot in the foot and is expected to undergo surgery.
Enough is enough. I mean, we can't keep doing this.
A suspect is now in custody in connection to the shooting. And as for how the department is doing,
even after what happened last night, officers from those districts are going to get up today and they did.
Another officer was just shot just the other day in like an alley or something. I saw it on the news.
They get up today, put on a badge, and go back and keep working, even though their friends got shot.
And again, the MPA says that Corder underwent emergency surgery. He's listed as stable, but still remains in critical condition. If you are interested in helping out both these officers' families, we have a link for where you can do that on the Fox Local mobile app. But for now, reporting
Well, he gone now. He ain't in critical condition.
live
No more.
outside Freighter, Stephanie Quirk, Fox 6 News.
Stephanie, thank you for that update.
Today, at approximately 6:46 p.m., Milwaukee police officers were assigned to a directed patrol mission and tasked with patrolling the area of the 4600 block of West Hampton Avenue regarding recent violent crime. While patrolling the marked squad, officers were flagged down by a community member for two individuals flashing guns. Officers observed the two suspects and attempted to conduct an investigatory stop when the suspects fled on foot. Our officer exited the vehicle and gave chase on foot. Our officer encountered one of the suspects in the alley of the 4800 block of North 46th Street and gave commands to the suspect to drop the gun. The suspect refused, and gunfire was exchanged between one of the suspects and our officer.
Listen to this.
One of the suspects and our officer were both struck by gunfire. The second suspect was arrested without further incident. No one else was injured by the gunfire. Two ghost gun firearms were recovered. Again, two ghost guns firearms were recovered. The suspect was shot, was a 39-year-old male, was transported to a hospital for treatment of non-fatal gunshot injuries. The second suspect is a 19-year-old male. Our injured officer is a 30-year-old male with over 7 years of service. He was transported to a hospital for treatment for non-fatal injuries. This officer is also the officer that discharged his firearm at the suspect. He was placed on administrative duty as a routine and officer-involved shootings. Criminal charges for both suspects will be referred to the district attorney's office. The Milwaukee Police Homicide Unit will be investigating this incident. This is a fluid and ongoing investigation. Video related to this incident will be released in accordance with the Standard Operating Procedures 575. The Milwaukee Police Department send our thoughts and prayers to our officer and wish him speedy recovery. And at this time, I will invite Mayor Johnson to come and say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. Every time I have the opportunity to step inside the incident command post and hear about incidences like this that happen, I am grateful. I'm really grateful that we have men and women in law enforcement and public safety generally in this city that will run into a situation where there's gunfire, that will patrol an area that's been as challenged as it has been on West Hampton Avenue.
Man, I feel like the officers about to start shooting first now, because they shooting at too many officers now in Milwaukee. They shooting at too many officers now. I feel like the officers is about to start shooting first.
As of late, that even extends to the fire department with some recent activity like the fire that happened on Mother's Day, where firefighters rushed into that building in order to save lives, save dozens of people's lives. But I am a little disappointed. As a matter of fact, I'm very disappointed today. I'm very disappointed because the chief just talked about an officer who was shot. An officer who was shot when he was here helping out with patrols in this neighborhood when incidences have happened here and there's been need for police presence in this neighborhood, additional police presence. That's what he was here for. That's what he was here doing. And so I'm disappointed that he was shot. And further, I'm disappointed that he was shot by a man who's 39 years old. For real? For real? 39 years old? You're too damn old to be shooting at police.
Wow, I didn't know he was 39. I thought he was a YN. He 39.
Police officers at 39 years old. You're too damn old And worse, you got a 19-year-old kid with you while you're doing this. You're supposed to be a role model for this young man. You're supposed to be teaching him how to grow up to be a responsible adult. Yet the actions that you displayed are going to land you in jail for I don't know how many years. You'll be in prison. You're going to be behind bars for I don't know how many years. That's the message that you're sending to young people. And it's not fair to the other kids who live in this neighborhood to have their neighborhood taped off like this because you want to be stupid out here with guns. You're too damn old, man. You're too old. Grow up. Grow up. Stop with this nonsense. It is insane what's going on out here. It's also insane that these folks get so easy access to these firearms. It does not make sense. It just really doesn't. We all have to do some work here. Just yesterday, the chief joined me and a number of our community partners to launch an initiative for the third year called Hello Summer to make sure that young people, including 19-year-olds, have the opportunity to do something positive in Milwaukee this summer to stay out of trouble. Right? We've got our Earn and Learn Summer Youth Jobs program that's going to put hundreds of young people to work, including 19-year-olds, this summer before kids even.
We need it. They need it. We need it in Milwaukee because it's hectic. It's hectic. It's nothing how it used to be. It's hectic.
Get to that age. We got our Camp Rise program engaging with kids as young as 10 years old to make sure that they don't get in trouble this summer. There's so many things that are out there, so many programs that are out there. We don't need 39-year-old men who's supposed to be role models, who's supposed to be guiding our youth. We don't need them showing them the wrong way because they're too damn old for this. Too damn old. Like, stop already. And for the people whose houses they go to, right? Because I know they're going to go sit on somebody's couch. You cannot let them go into our community and do crazy stuff like this and shoot at law enforcement officers, people who took an oath to protect and serve our neighborhoods, to protect and serve the citizens who live in this city. You cannot do that. You have to turn them in. You have to. Because if you don't, then neighborhoods will continue to be taped off like this. And kids will not feel comfortable going outside to play this summer. Tomorrow's the last day of school. Kids shouldn't be waking up to this or going to bed to this. It's not right. It's not right. And we as adults have to do better. We have to. Because this is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. 39 years old. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Control yourselves. Grow up.
I don't think I can say anything more than what the mayor had expressed.
Man, that wasn't even worth it. Whatever happened, they pulled out a gun on somebody, they called the police. They should have just left. Now you done killed the officer, shooting at an officer. You 39, you ain't never gonna see the streets again.
This is getting to be an old refrain in regards to some of the things that we're seeing here. We have individuals who are taking their own life in jeopardy by engaging in dangerous and violent behaviors. I said this, and I say this all the time. It's unacceptable, not only to shoot each other, but to one of our own who are out here helping make our city safe. Unacceptable. And I'll say this to our community. You need to make sure that this is unacceptable to you too. This is all of our problem. Don't just put it on any one entity, the mayor, myself, the officers. This is all of our problem. And collectively, we need to make sure that we are responding in the right and appropriate way, which is enough. Enough. You own guns, be responsible with them. You have kids, raise them. Do not allow individuals to behave in a way that is disrespectful to our community, disrespectful to our city. We have some challenges right now that we really need to lean into this, Milwaukee. Let's lean in this together. questions?
Chief, we heard over police radio that the officer was transported to the hospital in a squad. We can only imagine how scary that must have been. How is the officer doing right now? And were you able to speak with them?
No, after this press conference, I will be out to see the officer. I know that he's getting treated. That
He's gone now.
was a situation that was a call by the officer's partners in regards to how that took place. But I do know that our friends and partners, the Milwaukee Fire Department, is a great resource in regards to this. But yes, they did, transform to the hospital themselves.
Chief, it sounds
The family pulled the plug today on the officer.
like you guys were doing extra patrols after the week we've had here on Hampton. Are those patrols going to continue now that this happened? I'm sure you guys aren't going to stop.
So a couple things. Anyone who behaves in a criminal way, the long arm will for the law is going to get you. No one is just able to have any particular type of wanton or just continue to have behaviors that we see out here. But yes, we're committed to be in this neighborhood, but we're committed to Milwaukee. We're committed to all our neighborhoods. Where there is these type of incidents going on, we will be engaged. But what I am proud of and was reported to myself and the mayor was that citizens, community members in this neighborhood came and approached us about, this is a problem. Please help us out. And so I'm appreciative of the men and women in the Milwaukee Police Department leaning into this particular situation and understanding that there's risk, but they're willing to take on their risk, even if it means they're going to get shot. But this cannot be the norm. We cannot be normalized to this violence. This cannot be something like, oh, just another day. We should always be shocked and find urgency about how can we all address this together.
Chief, can you clarify two parts here? Were they just here for presence, or were they looking for certain people tied to certain recent crimes? And second, for ghost guns to be involved here, what level of concern does that add to this for you?
So I don't know if people coming here to be just present. We are here to engage. One of the things that is always part of our mission and vision is to not only just show up, but be engaged with the community, interact. But yes, we're looking for those who want to be those who want to institute or initiate violence or be a part of this. I know that we had our unfortunate couple of past weekends where we've seen our youth carrying firearms, extended clips, ages that should never be in possession of these type of items. And so they're here to, yes, be able to monitor, intervene, and impact the crime that's going on. Ghost guns are just a plague on this community, but the state, our country, these are untraceable weapons. These are weapons that can be, made out of, printers. This is something that we see, unfortunately, too often. And this is something that we cannot.
On the real, Milwaukee worse than it's ever been in 2 decades. It's right now. It's people don't see it on the news and stuff like that, but it's the same way as everywhere else. The drill music and the people beefing, talking about each other, and that leads to
accept that as part of our
at least people getting ill.
Community to be allowed to be carried or used.
Have you watched the body camera video yet? And if you have, what could you describe about your officer's actions here?
All I can say is that I've saw only parts of it, but I can say that I'm proud of the work that they're doing, the work that was done, the leaning into a situation that was could be a lot for anybody to take on. And the way how the officers support each other, but also was able to stop a threat in regards to a situation where 2 armed individuals were unfortunately being unfortunately preying on the community in regards to their particular behavior, which is unacceptable. So this is where we have to really know that we do have men and women out there putting the work in to keep our community safe, but this is bigger than just any one organization or entity. Just as the mayor said, we have offerings to keep our youth engaged, but this is something where we have somebody who's old, who has the experience in life on earth and know better than this. And so this is, again, unacceptable in all type of angles.
Any indication?
Chief, you talked about the presence that your staff has had here in this neighborhood, but many of us just talked in the past 2 hours of people who feel it's not enough. And they also talked, Mayor, about the administration, that these areas don't get as much attention as others. What's the message to those people who, despite a heavy police presence, still feel that their neighborhoods are overlooked?
So I understand that challenge. I understand that there's always going to be the desire to say, what can you do more? And we will take on that in regards to being able to say, we are and will do more. But it's a collective effort. We have, and the mayor can talk about this too, the Officers of Community Wellness and Safety engaged in this community. We have a number of community partners because it's not just any one particular entity. We all need to use this collaboration and be able to work together to make sure that we're impacting the violence and crime, but also how are we engaging the young ones? How are we engaging individuals who are in need? Because that also needs to be addressed, and that's not a law enforcement only type of responsibility. I don't know, Mayor, you want to say a couple words?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for the question. One, I would say I would encourage citizens to continue to call the police, to make sure if there's something that's going on awry in their neighborhood, that they alert the police, that they let them know so that presence can continue to happen here. Chief touched on this, and it's absolutely true. The Office of Community Wellness and Safety has been engaged, has been on the ground in this neighborhood in light of the recent activity that's happened here on West Hampton Avenue. I applaud those efforts as well. And lastly, I can tell you that since I've been mayor of Milwaukee, the budgets that I've been presenting to the Common Council, they have enough funding for 3 classes, which is the most that we can produce out of our academy, and enough funding for 65 recruits in each of those classes, the most that we can produce out of our academy in the city of Milwaukee. I want people who live in this neighborhood and neighborhoods all over the city that have cause for concern, that want to see more presence, to join the force. Come work for the Milwaukee Police Department. Come help to solve the problems that we have in these neighborhoods. You don't think that there's enough presence here? Come help us. Be a part of the solution. You can do that. We've changed our recruitment model to be a continuous recruitment model in Milwaukee because we want people in neighborhoods like this to be a part of the solution. So join us. Help out.
Thank you.
Is there any indication that any of the violence
The end of watch for Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Corder. Today, his family made the decision to take the 32-year-old off of life support.
Shortly after his law enforcement family escorted his body from the hospital to the medical examiner's office, Corder and his partner, 29-year-old Christopher McCray, were shot Thursday night near 25th and Garfield. They were called to respond to a weapons call when police say they were ambushed and later rushed to Freighter Hospital. McCray was discharged from the hospital Saturday. Corder had been listed in critical condition until this afternoon. Tonight, police officers, firefighters, and many of you lined the route from the hospital to the medical examiner's office to pay respects to Officer Corder.
And we have team coverage for you tonight.
We have Ashley Sears, Christina Vanzels, but we start with Durante Matthews, who was there when police announced Corder's death.
Yes, Sam and Mary, we found out about Officer Corder's death around 5 this evening. And within that hour, police officers from throughout the city all made their way over to Freighter Hospital in unison. And it was there that we saw up close and personal and firsthand just the sheer impact Officer Corder's death had on his fellow brothers and sisters in blue. Where at the hospital, we saw officers embracing each other, many hugging, others even holding their heads down in grief. Shortly after that, they saluted Officer Corder before flashing their vehicle's lights and beginning the procession over to the medical examiner's office. We also briefly heard from Police Chief Jeffrey Norman and Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Both spoke about how Corder died doing what he loved, protecting and serving. They say he wore his badge with pride during his few years with the department. Now, Chief Norman also says that the past nearly 3 days has taken a huge toll on all of them.
At this moment, we all are in pain. We have lost someone who loved his career, who looked forward to being part of the work to impact public safety in our community.
I can't think of anybody more brave, anyone more honorable than Officer Corder, who stepped in when necessary in order to protect our city.
And Chief Norman also shared a message from Officer Corder's family. They're thanking the community for all of the prayers and all of the support that they have gotten over the past nearly 3 days. Mayor Cavalier Johnson says Corder's legacy will be that of bravery. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Durante Matthews, Fox 6 News.
And interesting, you see there early in the video that you showed the man on crutches with the cast around his foot. That's his partner, Officer Christopher McCray, taking part in that procession today. Durante, thanks.
Yeah, that is crazy. Man, 39 years old, you shooting at officers. That's nuts. Y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments. What y'all think about that, though? Yeah, they going crazy in Milwaukee. They shooting at some other cops just got shot in the alley the other day, a couple days ago. I feel like this is going to scare a lot of cops, and a lot of cops are going to shoot first. Like, people in Milwaukee better be scared to reach for anything. Don't reach for nothing, because, yeah, it's going to end up bad. This ain't going to turn out good. They're gonna start shooting first. Yeah. Wow.